Yo! Welcome back to another edition of the Cruising Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Cruz, and today is Thursday. And we're back. Okay, so welcome to another edition. Where you can find the Cruising Podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere you can find podcasts. This is where you can find the Cruising Podcast. Also, where you can find latest updates of the Cruising Podcast is on Instagram at Cruising Podcast. Also on Twitter at Nicetown Finest. So, all right. So last weekend, I was going to give it some time to breathe a little bit and let it chill. But Jupiter's Legacy was a one of those superhero family type TV shows that Netflix decided to bring out. And I have my own opinions about it. First of all, it was a great two storylines that they had. I said it. There was two storylines that, in my opinion, and probably I might be by myself on this one, they should have stuck. What they should have did was make at least maybe 2 or 3 episodes, the flashback episodes, and then go into modern times, because the switching back and forth between flashbacks was pretty bad. It took away from the story, in my opinion. It worked for Witcher because people really didn't know. It was seamless. It felt seamless at the time, but they went out of their way to tell you, oh, whoa, here comes the flashback now. Flashback here, flashback there. Like every 5 minutes, you go from flashback to modern day, flashback, modern day, flash. It felt like it was taken away from the story this time around. It felt like a COVID TV show. And it felt like Netflix should have just said, look, we're going to make this a 10-episode first season so we can explain their backstory, which will be the first 3 episodes. And then we'll talk about the backstabbing and all the rest of this craziness that's happening with this family. I like the storylines. I think if you made them separate, it would have been done. I feel like it would have grabbed me better. I still finished all 8 episodes. The ending was fantastic. I was not expecting that ending, but I think it took away from what would have been a really good story, and them keep going back and forth. It really took away from it, and you'll be engaged in one story, and then they'll go back and be like, oh fuck, man, we're going back. Damn, this shit was starting to get good, and then you say, okay, switching up. All right, starting to get good. Gotta go back. So I felt like the first maybe 2 or 3 episodes should have been used as the flashback, as the building, as the backbone and the foundation of the story, and it would have made this show a lot better in my eyes. I think there was a little bit of overacting in some places. I feel like where I would have started the story was, when the first scene where you see all the cuts and bruises, and maybe you go to a flashback scene, that maybe that's so like have a little montage of what they've been through, but that's about it. It seems like the code part was pretty annoying. I understand we don't kill, we don't rule, but some things, maybe you should have intervened in. I'm just saying, especially if you've been around since 1930. Just throwing it out there. So that's my biggest gripe with this show, is that they should have just stuck with one storyline each. Just like this is where Punisher where Netflix made a mistake with Punisher. There were too many villains. Who was really the villain? Was it Tommy? Was it his best friend Jigsaw? Was it the fucking the cult leader dude? Well, who was it? You kept switching it. If we had one villain, one solid villain, which both would have been, both of them were really good villains. I feel like there were too many. You shouldn't have had 2 of them. You should just have one. Just like Luke Cage, that's where they made a mistake, is that they had too many villains. Jessica Jones, the first season of Jessica Jones was fantastic because we knew who we were going after. It was Kilgrave. And I think this is where Netflix messes up these comic book shows is that they put too many villains in the show, and they try to do all these twists and turns and things like that. And it's like, I know you're trying to make it like pizzazz and stuff, but and try to be all, oh, well, here's shock value here and shock value there. No, we don't need all the shock value. As especially if you read comic books, it doesn't always have that shock value. It always has, here's the villain. The villain might win the first time. Villain even might win the second time, but he's definitely not winning the third or fourth time. And the cat and mouse, maybe it's just me. I'm not going to say it for all of us. I want to say it maybe just for me. I like the cat and mouse between one and the other. That's why Death Note was fantastic. There was one villain. We all knew who the villain was. It was one guy. And I feel like with some of these comic book series, like Luke Cage, we knew who the villain was the first season. It was his brother. Sorry, spoiler. It's like 10 years old. Get the fuck over it. We knew who the villain was. It was his brother. We knew who the villain was for Daredevil. It was Fisk. Right? The first no, well, they always only had like one or two villains. But no, they always had one villain. Really, per episode, per like season, Daredevil had like one or two, maybe two villains one time, but Fisk was the overarching villain of Daredevil. I feel like this is where they kind of mess up these comic book series, is this part. They just try to do too much, where you could have just simplified it. You could have, even if you wanted to do 8 episodes, maybe take an episode out, an episode or two in to explain how they got their powers. Because that's where really you were doing with the flashbacks. That was 2 episodes long of stuff that you could have put out in separate episodes and kept it moving. And even if you wanted to start with modern day and then maybe have 2 flashback episodes, it's like filler type deals, that might have been better. That might have been okay. But I think that you can't do that every time. Everybody's trying to go that Arrow route. And Arrow, to me, I know everybody didn't like it. I know a lot of people didn't like when they went flashbacky in Arrow, but even with that, maybe I would have took a season out and let him live on the island, or a couple episodes here and there where it's just him on the island. I think everybody's starting to go that route where, all right, well, we're going to just fit in flashbacks wherever we can. That's what was great about Game of Thrones. They never really deviated from the storyline. You knew what the storyline was going to be. You knew there was going to be some twists and turns in it, but you knew where the storyline was practically heading. And hold on, my bad. Sorry. And there was no flashbacks, except for a few times where maybe, Bran became the Three-Eyed Raven. That's the only flashbacks you really see, but it made the story go by, and it actually connected the stories. It made it go forward, except for Jon Snow being a Targaryen, but never fucking paid off. But hey, look, man, hey, look. That's neither here nor there. We're not going to talk about that. But I feel like Netflix makes this mistake every single time with these comic book series. I really hope they don't do this with Sweet Tooth. I hope that we maybe find out what happened to the Earth. Why do we have genetic mutations? And then we keep it moving. And then we go with the story. I feel like going back and forth with flashbacks kind of it's lazy. It's like you just said, all right, well, we're just going to do this, and then you guys just going to deal with it. Nah, homie, do better. Fans aren't idiots. We know when this is being done, with probably not enough production or whatever, production costs or whatever. Like y'all, Netflix makes so much money off their subscriptions that this should have been done way better. This could have been longer. If they had to make it longer, they could have made this longer. Like you really up the pay for what? You up the payments for what? This was a good storyline. This was a waste of good storylines, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. You wasted 2 very good storylines and fuck them up each time you stop the story. And I know people are gonna be like, well, I mean, was the story still good? Yeah, the story was great. It was a great story. It was great. He's trying, the uh, utopian is trying to continue the code, even though it's 2021 or 2020, 2021, whatever. And it's not 1929. And he's trying to keep that same code. And he needs to adapt or die. Pretty much. That's his son. Spoiler. Almost got same code. Almost got his son killed. When things start to deviate, start to make moves, you gotta move with it. It's like a wave, baby. You gotta move with it, or you're gonna get sucked up underneath it. I think that's how waves work. Just please, all my surfer friends, please don't come after me too harshly. But that's where I'm at. You mad because if somebody was about to blow up and they get smashed in the face, he was going to kill everyone there. Everybody. There were going to be no heroes. Except for maybe people that were like now you have to redo the Justice League if that atomic bomb goes off. And you're mad. Sometimes you got to make the extreme decision to have a better outcome. In some cases. But I do like I thought the show was pretty well done. And I think that we're at a point where I think people might get superheroed out. I think Jupiter's Legacy could have been so much better. I think I know there's going to be a part 2. We'll see what happens from there. Hopefully, we get a little bit more information of why certain parts left the Union. And I truly hope that we get a better we get a better part 2. They're not calling them seasons, they're calling them parts. Part 2 of this TV show. Also, so this week, Castlevania comes out. I think either next week or the week after Lucifer comes out. And guess what? Cold motherfucking world, baby. Midnight, baby. The off season. Let's get it. Breaks over. It takes over. Jermaine Cole. Jermaine Cole is coming out with the off season. He's got a burning basketball court. He announced that he's playing in the African Basketball League. He's doing big motherfucking things this summer. If you haven't listened to the interlude yet, and you are not a J. Cole, and you're a J. Cole fan, you are not a J. Cole fan. Fuck you. Go listen to the interlude so you can become a fan again. Just putting it out there. All right? You fuck this up. You're gonna fuck up. I'm just letting you know. The off season will be playing. I might even have an album review tomorrow. Who knows? But the off season will be playing all fucking day in Andrew's car, Andrew's gym workouts, Andrew's basketball shooting workouts, tennis, whatever the fuck I'm doing that is either active or sitting in my car. I am listening to the off season. Just letting you guys know now, I might be rhyming a lot because, the king is back. Jermaine is back. King Cole, baby. Woo! Get off my dick. Sitting up all night. Oh, I'm playing his love songs. Got me up all night. Oh, I'm playing his love songs. She got me open all night. Oh, I'm singing his love song. She got me up all night. Let's go! J. Cole is back. Woo! I might even be playing that while I'm playing video games. Whatever's going on in my life, the off season will be playing. Y'all don't understand. Woo! Born Center. Let's go. Woo! 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 What? I walks amongst the evil. What? For the greater good, I walks amongst the evil. For the greater good. He walked amongst the evil. He's taking over. Off season. Let's fucking go. If they televise any of the African basketball games, though, I'm telling you, I will get a J. Cole African whatever team he's on jersey. I don't know what team he's on. It makes me feel like I'm from Fayette. No, hold on. Let's calm down. 2014 Forest Hills Drive, though, almost made me go sit on a motherfucking roof. You know what I'm saying? But I'm afraid of heights, and I'm not doing that. I'm completely afraid of heights. And I was like, because real goats sit on roofs. You know what I'm saying? Real goats never lose their balance. You know what I'm saying? That's just what happened. The sideline story. Mr. Nice Watch. Let's go. The chaining day. All right, let me stop. All right, sorry guys. All right, I had to. Y'all understand? If it's not Eminem, who's one of my favorite rappers, probably my favorite rapper, one of my favorite rappers of all time, I really don't have a number one. I just listen to what the fuck I listen to. But Eminem is probably, Def 5 in Andrew Cruz's list. J. Cole is right next to Eminem, in my opinion. That's just me. That's my list. Fuck you. I don't care. J. Cole's on my motherfucking top 5. Okay? I might even say who my top 5 is, because mostly that shit fluctuates every fucking year. So I've been listening to a lot of Polo G to get me prepared. Is that my phone? That is my phone. To get me prepared for the off season, because we on season, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Big shit is happening because J motherfucking Cole is back. Woo! The biggest thing coming out of the South since slavery. That's what he said. He said that on a freestyle. What? Let's go. Let's go. Be free. Oh, I want to be free. Oh, they gave the black man the ship. Didn't say it was sinking. What? It was sinking. The ship was sinking, and they gave the black man the keys to the ship. This is when Obama became president. That's why he said that. That's why. Listen to Cole. Fuck, man. Hold on, let me get. Every day a star is born. Talk to him. Talk to him. Talk. That's where everybody else listened to J. Cole for the first time. But the first time I listened to J. Cole was with Miguel. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom. Damn. Cold world. Never thought I'd be saying you my old girl. Now I'm over here talking to old new girls. You 1 girl, 2 girls, 3, 4 girls. Hut 1, hut 2, make it height. Okay, sorry. Hold on. Woo! Yo, I'm listening to J. Cole all day tomorrow. Yo, I don't understand. I'll even go back to the old shit to go listen to the new shit and then listen back to the old shit. That's just what the fuck we're doing. That's what we're doing. I'm fucking hyped the fuck up. If anybody needs me, I will be listening to J. Cole. I know people are probably turning off of this and saying, J. Cole, why is this dude so into J. Cole, bro? It's like, this is getting a little weird for us. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. I'm so amped. I'm excited. I'm just excited. That's a lot. That's all I am. That's all I am. If the African League comes out with J. Cole jerseys, Jermaine Cole jerseys, Andrew Cruz will be having those jerseys. That's all I'm saying. All right. Well, let me think about life real quick. Fuck, man. Holy mother goose. Goodness gracious. Woo! Okay. There we go. Let's see. All right. We're good. We're good. We're good. All right. Speaking of basketball, Sixers, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? They got I think they should be ready for playoffs. In my opinion, this is a playoff ready team. I don't like that they're stumbling to the gates, but I think they need to get punched in the mouth before they walk into the playoffs and toughen the fuck up. Like, Miami tonight tried to punk them tonight, and they were down by almost 30 points at one point. And this is the number one team in the East. And I think complacency has taken over this team. And I think Doc is going to get into their ass today, tonight, whatever. Um, pause. And I think they're going to regroup. They're going to come back when the final couple games, end up with the number one seed and go into the playoffs, fresh, hopefully. They still got to wait for the 7, 8 games to happen. I just don't want to see Miami in an 8 seed because Miami is going to wear them the fuck down. I think so. That's just the type of team they are. Jimmy ain't gonna fuck around. Jimmy brings dogs out, and I'm really worried about going into this playoffs right now because they do look like shit. And I mean that. They shouldn't have lost to Indiana. They shouldn't lose to Miami. You're too good of a team with a full staff to be complacent right now. Put the foot on everybody's neck and tell them, yo, when we get into these playoffs, y'all fucked. Because Brooklyn's watching, Milwaukee's watching, Miami's watching, New York's watching. Ooh, let's talk about the New York Knicks for a second. What? Who would have thought Julius Randle was that good? I did. I said it. I said, yo, whoever gets Julius Randle, I probably didn't say it on here, but I said this. I said, whoever gets Julius Randle as a free agent, they got a monster on their hands. He's a really good player. He just needed to get in basketball shape, in better basketball shape. He needed a coach that probably was going to get into his ass, and that's Tom Thibodeau. Why do I keep saying that? Stop saying that. Goodness gracious, Andrew, what are you doing? Oh, I graduated in 2017. Oh, shit. Okay. Completely forgot what the fuck I was saying. Yeah. Need Tibbs to that I think some younger teams need a coach like Tibbs because he's gonna bring the best out of you and he's gonna make you into dogs. But I heard those kids over there are fucking dogs anyway. Like they said they had to hide the key away from them while they were on their I think 8-game or 10-game winning streak. They had to hide the key from the gym so they wouldn't go in and do late night workouts. Like they never turned the lights on or whatever. They said you can't come in here. We're not allowing you to come in here. Like that's how much they want it. And those are what I call fucking dogs. Those are dogs that you want to go to war with. I'm sorry, on the basketball court. Sorry, you know what I'm talking about. But those are dogs that you want to be around when you go onto the basketball court. And what scares me about the Sixers is that it feels like they can get to that point where they get complacent. Like even during games when they're up by 20 points, how many 20-point leads have they blown this year? You got to keep the foot on everyone's fucking neck in the East and make sure that they know, yo, we're the badasses here. We're the big dogs in the yard. We're going to fuck you up. So, in my opinion, the Sixers are a great team. They're greatly constructed, maybe a score away from absolutely winning the East. It's going to be a dogfight no matter what. But this is where we're at. And I just want to say that I'm excited for the playoffs. I feel like even though Brooklyn, try to overpower their team, I don't think they're that great. I don't think they're that good. They're good. They're a good team. You got probably the most statistically one of the biggest mismatches on offense, which is Kevin Durant. But where's the defense going to come from? Blake Griffin was not always a great defender. Let's just put it out there. Blake Griffin was not always a great defender, and he's not really truly a guy that can stick to the center position. The only one they really have that can stick the center position is DeAndre Jordan. Now, Aldridge, even when Aldridge was playing, I don't think Aldridge was a great defender either. But that was maybe 4 or 5 other fouls you could have had somewhere else for Embiid. Now, the team that I really do think is on the upswing, might be Milwaukee, but I don't think Milwaukee's really that good either. They can hit threes when they're hot. They're hot, but when you can take away that lane from Giannis, now you're in trouble. Now you have a problem because if your shooters aren't hitting, this is when they get blown out in the fucking playoffs. This is when they lose in the playoffs. When Giannis goes like 3 of 13 or some crazy number or some bad number, and everybody else doesn't shoot around him, like Middleton or I like the addition of Drew Holiday because he is a solid player. No, like everybody says, that's the most underrated player in the league right now that no one talks about. Drew Holiday is a great player. Now, did LeBron James somehow by the end of the season take a month off? Of course, to get his rest. Of course. Can we not talk about that? LeBron took a month off. Let's be real. Yes, he had an ankle injury. It was an ankle sprain. Okay, I've sprained my ankle too. Understandable. Also, I'm not a super fucking athlete. But anyway, sprained ankles at worst. Nah, maybe not at worst. The median to come back from sprained ankles, 2 weeks, maybe 3, not a month. You can come back almost full speed in a month. Almost full speed in about 3 weeks, maybe. Full speed, like it's trusting the ankle too. You also have to trust that it's not gonna fuck up on you. But let's be real. Anthony Davis took a month off at some point during the season, right? He took about a month off. But he had an actual injury, I think. He did. Well, LeBron had an actual injury too. But I feel like those other 2 weeks he kind of milked it a little bit and said, he was bitching because they started the season off a little early for his taste anyway. So that's why he probably got that month off. And, they're going to come back full strength, ready to rock. It'd be funny if the Lakers, it would be funny if the Lakers don't make the playoffs because they lost both the play-in games. That would be fucking hilarious. But that's not going to happen. LeBron ain't going to let that happen. But what if that does happen? What if? That would be fucking hilarious. What if they lose both of the play-in games? That shit would be fucking hilarious. The Lakers don't make the playoffs. The defending NBA champions don't make the playoffs because they decided to rest their 2 best players at different parts of the season. At the same time, at one point, yeah. At the same time, they rested. That should be crazy, right? That'd be fucking hilarious. I would laugh my ass off. But I hope the Sixers don't lose in the first round. So let's not hope for bad things. But that should be fucking hilarious. It'll also be hilarious if the Sixers lose too. But listen, I think that the Lakers are still probably the best team in the West. They just they're a sleeping giant. Phoenix is really good. Chris Paul, every time he joins a team, the team improves the next year. Like their win percentage actually improves. Their turnover to assist ratio improves. Everything, overall leadership improves. And to have the Suns number 1 or 2 in the West after last year when they won 8 games in a row and didn't make the playoffs, and when they were in the bubble, they really had a slim to none chance, and Slim kind of walked out the window, but they still won 8 games in a row. Booker's has become a man. He's killing it. Booker's a beast. Utah's really good if Donovan Mitchell comes back full strength, healthy, ready to go. Denver literally has the same exact team. When they got Aaron Gordon, it literally just was like, okay, well, we're going to replace Millsap with Gordon. And now we have another scorer, an athletic power forward / small forward. We still got Jokic. We still got Jamal. Sorry, my bad. Jamal Murray's injured. Now, okay, so this is where they might have a problem. They don't have that second score. Well, they got Porter. They got Michael Porter this year, too. Michael Porter improved from last year. Now, is Michael Porter Jamal Murray? No, he's not. Jamal Murray is the probably Jokic is the best player on the team. I think Jamal Murray and Porter like the 1 or the 2A and 2B, but Jamal Murray does something a little bit more with his point guard abilities too. And also he's a very, 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 very good three-point shooter. He's a very good shooter and scorer, but he's a very good shooter. And I think that loss of him is going to affect the shit out of the Denver Nuggets. I want to see the full playoff thing before I give any of my predictions, but Utah, this is their make or break year for me. This is their make or break year. They have to do something this year. I'm not saying, you got to blow up the whole thing, but I think the Utah Jazz have gotten to certain parts of the playoffs and have faltered. And I feel like if they at least don't get to the conference finals or even and actually be competitive in the conference finals or get to the finals, I think this is a lost season for this team again, because they have entirely too much talent on that team to not be making it to at least the conference finals. And I'm saying this because they have a lot of young talent on that team. And also they have a good mixture of older and younger talent. Like Mitchell, this is his 5th year, and he's only like 24. 24, 25. This is Rudy Gobert's like 30th season. I don't know how Rudy Gobert. No, this is like Mike Conley's 30th season. This is Mike Conley's 30th season. But this is like Rudy Gobert's like 15th. But no, I think Rudy Gobert he should be in the 10s right now. It should be around his 10th season, if I remember correctly. He's been around for a while. You have Bogdanovich, you have all these, you have really good complementary pieces, but if Mitchell is not playing at the top at where he was at before he got injured, Utah's in trouble, especially if they got to play the Lakers. Because LeBron when LeBron gets into the playoffs, him and AD, when they get to the playoffs, they're going to be fully rested. They're going to be healthy enough. They're going to be fully healthy too. And then you have Montrezl Harrell. You have Schroeder. I think Schroeder's not injured, right? No, I don't think Schroeder's injured. You got some really good players, complementary pieces on that team. You still got Kuzma, who comes off the bench. Who now, since he's been playing practically all this year, he's probably the most in rhythm out of everybody else. Him and Horton Tucker. Horton Tucker actually is doing some big fucking things, bro. I don't think anybody has seen it, but Horton Tucker's doing some big fucking things. Okay, you still got KCP. You got good complementary pieces on the Lakers. Lakers are still probably the best built team out of everyone. You still got Marc Gasol if you really want to bring him out. You still have him for whenever you play against other bigs. Oh, that's right. They added Andre Drummond too. Y'all thought I forgot. Yeah, I did a little bit. But they also have Andre Drummond. So they're still probably the best built team right now going into the playoffs. You still got the best player in the game, LeBron. You still got probably de facto number 1, 2, or 3, actually 2 top 10 big men, which is Anthony Davis and Andre Drummond. You have a really good bench if you really want to use it. Caruso's actually pretty good. Caruso is the starter on that team, if I remember correctly. And you take Schroeder off the bench, who is a 6th man. And then you also have Montrezl Harrell, who is the reigning 6th man of the year. I think, to me, that team is the best built out of everyone going in my opinion. I know everybody's going to be like, oh, what about Brooklyn? Brooklyn doesn't have a bench. Remember this. Brooklyn doesn't have a great bench at all. Who are they bringing off the bench? Here's the deal. You don't have to worry about their bench because Harden's coming back. You still got Kyrie. You still got Durant. You still got Blake, who is a playmaker who can score and get rebounds. You still got DeAndre Jordan, who's a pretty good defender, athletic. And then after that, I don't have anybody. Like, their starting 5, great starting 5. But you're going to have to keep one of those starters on the court at all times because if that bench goes out there against the wrong fucking team who actually built their bench, they can get rolled over. And then you have to bring in a tired player. They're going to be tired by fourth quarter, or they're going to be tired by thinking if you get to a 7-game series, that starting five is going to be tired at some point. I know they're ultra athletes, but you're playing an NBA game. You know, you may get a day off here, play again, day off here, play again. I think the only saving grace is they might have 2 days off and then they play there. Okay, cool. Travel day. Okay, now we're playing. You know, you got to understand there's a lot of stress and a lot of energy that's taken out by traveling around in the NBA. In the playoffs, now you're playing against the same team over and over and over again. Now they're going to know your tendencies. Now they're going to know, all right, when that guy comes in, all right, we're going to bring him in, and then, you know, it's going to be a chess match. No matter what, when you get into the playoffs, it becomes a chess match. And the best chess masters are coaches that have been there before. Steve Nash has not been to the playoffs as a coach. Mike D'Antoni has. Hold on. Mike D'Antoni has, who is on that bench also. But how many times has Mike D'Antoni's playoff teams faltered in the conference finals? Has Mike D'Antoni ever made the finals as a head coach? Has Steve Nash? Has Amari Stoudemire? Has any of those people that's been on that staff? How does Andrew know all this shit? I don't know. Don't ask me. But they're greatly built starting five. They're a great built starting five. I think I like the dogs that come from New York. I think if New York's the 4th seed, they're a dangerous 4th seed. I think if somehow, some way, I think that Milwaukee and Brooklyn really dodged a bullet from New York not being like a 6th seed, because I wouldn't want to see that team in the first round. Now, if they had Mitchell Robertson, they're even more dangerous. Now you got a steady rebounder. You got a steady guy that's going to catch dunks and stuff like that. You still got Nerlens Noel. Yes, they still have Nerlens Noel, who's a really good defender, who is actually probably an elite defender at the center position and very athletic, very quick. But I think they're missing that Mitchell Robertson. Now, Emmanuel quickly is good. Derrick Rose has been really their biggest saving grace since he got onto that team. And Julius Randle is a top 10 player right now. He's a top 10 fucking player. And if there's a problem with that, you can all kiss my ass. Julius Randle's that good. But they have what we call an experience going into the playoffs, which can work for them and could also work against them. What's good about this team, though, is that they have a coach that's been through this fire, who is Tom Thibodeau. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to look at it like most of the coaches that are going into the playoffs right now have been through the fire of a playoff, including Doc Rivers, who has a title, who has been to the finals twice, who has been to the conference finals like a few times, who has went through those fires in the Western Conference with the Los Angeles Clippers, who I did not even talk about yet, who are also dangerous. And if Paul George steps up in the playoffs this year, the Clippers are dangerous. They're a dangerous team. They're really good. They're pretty well built too, except at the center position, even though Zubac isn't bad, but they're pretty well built. They got one of the Morris twins, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember their team. But you still got two of the best two-way players in the game, which is Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Hold on. All right, now we're going back to the East real quick. The only team really that's walking in there with a coach. Well, all right, we'll go with the top four. The only top four team that's going in with a coach that's inexperienced in playoffs is Steve Nash. But Steve Nash, as a point guard in the NBA, has been through that fire. But he hasn't been there as a coach. He hasn't been in that sweaty situation where, oh shit, I gotta make a play right here. Okay, maybe he had a play or two because he is a point guard, but hasn't been through that fire. D'Antoni has, kind of. Okay. So I think this NBA playoffs actually has a lot more parity than I thought it was going to be. Like the Brooklyn Nets tried to do that whole make an all-star team type deal. I think they might falter like semifinals, especially if they have to play Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee is good enough to play the Nets. You have somebody that can stick that, you have somebody that can literally the same height and length as Kevin Durant and is a very good defender who is Giannis Antetokounmpo. You have different defenders for different positions. Think about this. You have Drew Holiday, who is a elite defender who has long ass arms and can, I'm not going to say stop Kyrie, but he's going to give Kyrie problems. Harden, people sleep. Chris Middleton is actually a very, 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 very good defender too, in his own right. Now, Harden's the most creative offensive player probably of all time, but you have somebody that can play him, who is, once again, Chris Middleton. Now, if Milwaukee hits threes, Milwaukee wins that series running away with it. I don't think Durant, I think that Durant's a great player, but if you can't get Giannis off of him, then they're going to have a problem because Kyrie's going to have his hands full with Drew Holiday because he's going to have to play him on the other end. And Drew Holiday is also a very good offensive player. I think that's going to be a 7. That if Milwaukee's not hitting threes, it's a close series. If Milwaukee's hitting threes like they were against the Sixers a few weeks ago, Milwaukee is going to run away with that series. That's where it's going to come down to because they can stop Giannis. They can. Anybody can stop Giannis, to tell you the truth. Giannis can get his if he wants to, but he's going to work his ass off to get those points. He's going to work his ass off to get those rebounds, get those assists. Everything he's going to have to do is going to take a lot of energy. And that's just my opinion. Now, if Giannis is hitting threes and everybody else around him is hitting threes, they're running away with every series they have, in my opinion, except for against the Sixers because the Sixers don't beat that ass. But throat's getting dry. I need to get some water. That's why because it's getting hot in here. But I'll have a better look at it once the playoff list, once the playoffs get a little my predictions on that. I just want to talk about it. I just want to talk a little basketball. I needed it. So tomorrow I'm going to do a J. Cole off-season review. That it's going down. It has to go down. I mean, why the fuck not? It has to go down. This is my podcast. I'll do what the fuck I want. So we'll talk about the J. Cole podcast review. I mean, album review. Also, tomorrow. Sorry, I'm trying to think what else can happen tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow I want to talk about Canelo Alvarez, man. I want to talk about how I'm glad he won. I'm just glad he won. I'm so happy. Either way, he won. Either way, boxing kind of won a little bit. But we'll talk about that. And yeah, then tomorrow we'll have a show. So with that, I want to say thank you guys so much for listening. I really hope you guys had a beautiful time listening. I hope you show. I hope you come back. Please come back. That'll be great. I know I talked a lot of basketball, talked a lot of Jupiter's Legacy, but that's pretty much what I want to talk about. So, with that, I want to say where you can find the Cruising Podcast is on Apple Podcasts, also on YouTube, also at Spotify, or anywhere you can find your podcast needs. That's where you can find the Cruising Podcast. Also, where you can find latest updates of the Cruising Podcast is on Instagram at Cruising Podcast, also on Twitter at Nice Sound Finest. With that, I want to say thank you guys so much for listening. I love you all. If you want to see gameplay of your boy, it's on twitch.tv/Nicetown_finest27. So with that, I want to say thank you guys so much for listening. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow for J. Cole, J. motherfucking Cole review. All right, with that, deuces.